Today we have readings about things falling to the ground. In the first reading we have the manna, and in the gospel reading we have the seeds, and both of these are coming from God. And the question is, in both, what do we do with it? The people of Egypt, or of Israel, coming out of Egypt, were grumbling at God. They weren't happy with their situation. They had been freed from slavery, but now they weren't satisfied. And I think that's something that we all struggle with. We get one of our goals and we thank God for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we've forgotten and we moved on to our next complaint. So it's all very human of the Israelites here to be grumbling. And God, showing love for his children, again shares food with them and spreads down his bread from heaven. In the gospel reading we have the seed, which we had heard in another reading is the Word of God. Jesus is the Word made flesh, the Word of God come down to earth, and he is also our bread. We believe that we actually eat him in the bread of the Eucharist. So really we hear about Jesus being sent down to earth, and the question is, what do we do with it? Do we take it, eat it up, and just forget about it? Or do we take in the Word and do something with it? The manna was just something to be consumed, and the Israelites certainly forgot about this gift from God shortly thereafter. We also hear about them grumbling that they're thirsty later. They don't really appreciate the gift that they've been given. Our goal as Christians is to appreciate what we've been given, to appreciate this gift of the Word that we take into ourselves. Every Sunday that we go to church and get the Eucharist, we're taking in the bread of life. And are we going to do as the Israelites did and forget about it the next day, move on with our lives, go back to our jobs, and not live out the will of God, live out our life in his image? What we need to do is to take that gift, to take that bread, and to allow it to change us, to allow it to change our hearts, change our minds, and to start acting like we have God within us. And how do we do that? Well, as we know from the Bible, God is love. And so really the key to living out our life in the image of God, to living out this changed state, being changed by the bread, is to show love for others, loving them as Jesus has loved us. And that is quite a challenge. And yet, we have the strength to do it. And where do we get the strength to do it? From the bread of life.